All right, guys, I am so stinking excited to do this tonight. If you guys were at conference or watched virtually, drop a one in the chat. How freaking amazing was this weekend? I don't know about you guys, but I don't feel like I felt this much fire and passion for this company and within this company in a hot minute. And I just was just amazed at how much everything was so full of God and grace all weekend long. And I'm so excited. I've got a couple of sidelines on tonight who are going to help share some of their biggest takeaways as well. So I want to make sure we have time to hear from all of them starting off. So Courtney, I'm going to jump to you first. If you want to, I think I have to request to unmute you. Yep. Tell us a little bit about you, like your 5-minute it work story, 3-minute it work story, whatever, and then share us your takeaways.
Oh my gosh, I was not prepared to go first, but that is fine. I should have expected it. I should have been ready. But hey guys, my name is Courtney. I started this business almost 7 years ago. It'll be 7 years in April, which is crazy because I feel like I just started. But I started this business because I was drowning in credit card debt. I was 21, working more than full time. I had like over $15,000 of credit card debt, and I always say I was living paycheck to almost paycheck because one paycheck never made it the full 2 weeks. And I was like, well, shoot, we're broke with 4 cents in our account for the next 3 days. So we better hope nothing happens. So I had done another company similar to this before, and I had sworn off this industry as a whole. So if you ever hear someone tell you like, hey, I did something like that before and it didn't work well for me, you can be like, girl, my girl Courtney did the same thing and she joined. But so I swore off this industry as a whole, but I kept seeing this girl post and I was like, is this real? And y'all, at the time, this is really funny. This is really full circle. She kept posting about double good bonuses, which if you did not see, we have double beyond bonuses. And she was posting about these double good bonuses. And y'all, I was dumb. They ended at March 31st. And in April, when we talked about when she actually asked me to join, she was like, well, are you ready? And I was like, no, I'll wait for double good bonuses to come back. Like, that's how much I was watching her. Like, I straight up knew what the Ruby chart was. I knew what the Emerald chart was. Like, I had it already. And she was like, Courtney, they've never done double good bonuses before and they're not coming back. Like, if they were going to be extended, they would have. So I was real mad, but I joined. And fast forward to now, I have paid off all my credit card debt. We live debt free. We moved across the country because we could. I haven't worked another job in almost 5 years now. We paid for our dream wedding, honeymoon in cash. We have a 16-month-old little boy at home and another one due in May. And this business has just allowed us to do so much more than I ever thought possible because I really just wanted like $50 to $100 a month so that I didn't need to choose which credit card wasn't getting the minimum payment on it. And that's really all I wanted. And that's all I saw. But then I did that, and then I did a little bit more, and then I did a little bit more. And every little step, you gain a little bit more belief in yourself. So that is a little bit about me. But this conference, you guys, I left, and I have never felt so much excitement and peace at the same time. And it was a really, really cool feeling. Like, I left, and I was like, holy crap, like this was the first conference. Y'all, how many of you put like a 2 in the chat if you've been to or watched multiple conferences that you've been around for a couple of years? Okay, so y'all know how at the end when Mark does his speech and he's like, this isn't just another year, this is your year. And like, he says it every year, right? Y'all, like, let's be real, he says it every year. And this was the first year that I actually believed him. And this was the first year that I feel like he actually believed it, that he actually believed this was our year as a company. And it was just a really cool feeling. I wish that every single person that's on here could have been in the room because it just felt different. Like, it just felt so good. But my biggest takeaway, and there's a couple of things I'll say, but my biggest takeaway, y'all, didn't even come from someone with It Works. It was from Misha Tate. And she was talking about building and rebuilding. And if you felt like, y'all, whether you've been in for 7 years or you're like, oh, I was just trying to build to my 4-1, but the 30 days went away and you have to do it again, right? And she said, it's okay to rebuild, because it's okay to build, because every time you build something new or rebuild something, it's going to be better. It's going to be stronger. It's going to be bigger. It's going to be more how you want it and more aligned with your life. And it just rang true to me because it just rang this thought to my head that I was like, that makes so much sense, right? Because if you're in a house right now and you're like, you know what, I'm going to go build a new house. You're not going to build a house that's smaller and uglier and worse and less stable and you hate it compared to the one you already did, right? You're building a new house because you have this one and you're like, no, there's improvements I could make. I want to make my kitchen different. I want my closet bigger. I want my bathroom sinks this way, right? There's so many different changes and ways you would do something different. How many of you have seen those TikToks where it's like things I wish I would have done in my new build house, right? You see those TikToks and that's, it just rang true to me to say like, hey, it's okay to rebuild. It's okay to do something new or to do it again because you have experience. You know what you're doing this time and you're going to do it better and do it stronger. The other thing that I love that John said was there is a purpose in the process. And so many times it's so easy to be like, okay, I am here. I want to get to diamond. There's a $20,000 bonus. Hello? Put a 3 in the chat if y'all are hyped up about a $20,000 bonus. When I joined, I only got a $10,000 one, and I'm a little jealous that y'all get 20. Okay, I'm just gonna be real. So I only got 10. But when he said there's purpose in the process, it just hit my heart, and I literally got choked up because so many times we just want to look from the starting line to the finish line, and we don't want to think about what's in between, and we just want to get from here to there as quick as possible. But there is purpose where you are. There's purpose for what you are going through. There's purpose for why you felt like maybe you're like banging up against a wall, right? Put a 4 in the chat if you're like, I feel like I'm doing all the things, but I'm not getting anywhere, right? It is okay. There is purpose of why you're going through this. And there's going to be one day that you're on a Zoom or you're on a conference stage or you're somewhere and you're sharing your story. And there's going to be someone that's watching that's saying, oh my gosh, she's going through what I went through. Or she went through what I'm going through and she got through it so I can get through it too. I've been at Double Diamond for almost 5 years now. Is that how I wanted? No. Is that the process I wanted? No. But I know there's purpose here. And I know when I'm giving my ambassador speech or I'm giving my Millionaires Club speech, I'm going to share something that someone in the audience is going to say, holy crap, she is me, I am her, and she got through it so I can too. There's a purpose for what's going on. There's a purpose that maybe you're at a rank longer than you wanted, or maybe you're brand new and it's not coming together as quickly as you wanted. There is a reason and it's okay. And I want you to realize that your process is going to look different than mine. Your process is going to look different than Mariah's or Taylor's or any other leader that you look at. And that's why it's important, you guys, to find leaders that you can look at their process and be inspired instead of looking at their process and being discouraged. Because if you look at Mariah and you're like, oh my God, her life is perfect. She has this beautiful daughter and her life is together and everything's great. And you look at her page and it stresses you out and it shuts you down and it discourages you from where you're going. That's not who you need to be looking at. You need to find leaders that you can look up to and say, hey, you inspire me. You excite me. You make me ready to do this. Those are the leaders you need to follow, not the ones that make you feel like you're unworthy or that you're not good enough or that you're too old or young or big or small or whatever it is that little voice in your head is telling you when you're looking at those leaders. And then the other thing that I just want to get across, you guys, this isn't like an aha moment, but there is something in this company right now that I have never felt before. You guys heard me say I've been around for almost 7 years. And there is something between the corporate touching the field, between the leaders. There was so much love at this conference this weekend. There were so many tears shed in a good way. There was so much love and there wasn't any divide of like, oh, that's a top leader. We can't talk to them. That's corporate. We can't talk to them. No, it wasn't, that's your team. This is my team. That's their team. No, it was just, we were one. Corporate field, we were one. It wasn't the Alcala's team versus the Christensens. It was no divide anywhere. It was just all of us together loving on each other. And it was the coolest feeling. And I just want you to know that if you're brand new and you're like, I don't even know what this conference is. Like I watched it and it was great, but like, I don't even know what's going on. I don't know what this season is. I just want you to take this. I want you to run this season. I'm not going to promise you that you're going to go diamond and earn your $20,000 bonus because I can't see the future. But what I can promise you is that if you take this excitement and this momentum and you run, 6 months from now, your life will look totally different. There is so much momentum and so much excitement and so much more coming also that y'all's business is never going to look the same if you take advantage of what's happening right now. So I challenge you to get committed, stick to your daily task list, and just run like the wind for the next 6 months.
Oh my gosh. Yes. This event, I love what you said, talking about like how we all just felt love. If you guys have been to a conference before, you know what she's talking about there. But there was just such a different energy in the room, in the outside, like all around the place, where you just were able to just speak, and everyone was so willing to just give you their full and undivided attention, regardless of who you were. I mean, our brand new CEO was walking around. Mark was available. All the regionals were available. Like everyone was just so accessible, and no one was too high and mighty. No one was too busy, and they just made so much time. And it was just such an accepting room. It was like nothing I felt before with these conferences, guys. It was just next level. I think shifting with the Ancalas going to the CEO role has been something that this company needed so much deeper than we ever knew. It's just an incredible shift. I'm so freaking excited of what they're doing to bridge the gap truly between corporate and the field. So Laura, if you want to hop in, I will ask you to unmute and share a little bit of your story and some of your takeaways.
Okay, well, first off, how am I going to follow up Courtney when a lot of what she said is actually a lot of what I was going to say? So clearly there's something you need to hear there. All right, but so a little bit about me. My name is Laura Swart, and I have been in the business for 3 years. I just had my 3rd year anniversary in December. And you guys, when I say I wanted nothing to do with this, I mean, I literally wanted nothing to do with this. My sister was the one trying to sign me up. I literally told her no 5 times. I almost blocked my own dang sister on social media because I simply did not want her pestering me anymore. I didn't want to do sales. I thought it was spammy. I thought it was a scam and all the things. Like I said, you know, the dreaded P word, the pyramid, and all the things. I literally wanted nothing to do with this. But a little background on my financial situation is, you guys, first off, I can't even begin to go into detail of my entire story because my background literally is a hot mess. Like when you say anything that could have been wrong, you want to talk about teen mom, high school dropout, domestic abuse survivor, you know, rape survivor, convicted felon, spent 2 years in prison, like you name it, lost custody of my children, you know, all the things. Found out I was pregnant when I got to prison. That's a whole other thing. My story is unlike a lot of stories, but I can usually relate to a lot of other people's stories. So when somebody tells you that they can't do it because of X, Y, and Z, please trust and believe and say, listen, this is for anybody. Anybody can do this. You just have to have a will and a desire. So why did I finally say yes? Here's the thing. We're a family of 6, you guys. And at the time when my sister was asking me to join, we literally had like a grocery budget of about $250 a month. Now, granted, I know inflation's crazy right now, but even still back then, $250 a month for a family of 6, that was like nothing, okay? I was couponing, I was the whole crazy coupon lady, all the things, had my budget down, had my coupons clipped, all the things. I was going to the grocery store with my daughter, Lillian, who was 6 at the time. And she was so helpful and so sweet, checking things off the list, putting stuff in the cart. And we got to the end. And then when I say I had everything on that grocery list, like to a T for our meals for like the next 2 weeks, so we got another paycheck, I literally couldn't put anything back because everything needed to go together. It got it down to where we were going to be left with like 14 cents in our bank account. And somehow one of us had to get to work still. So at the end, my daughter, who was so helpful, asked if she could get a candy bar. She wanted a Nestle Crunch bar. It was on sale. It was 80 cents. I had to tell my daughter no for a freaking candy bar. Do you know how little that made me feel as a mom? It was in that moment that I was like, you know what? I can't do this anymore. I can't keep telling my daughter no to an 80-cent candy bar. I can't do that. I'm so sick of living. Like Courtney said, it wasn't even paycheck to paycheck. It was paycheck to let's try and get to the next paycheck. Like there was no cutting corners. We were doing everything we could and we just weren't gaining anything. And so I finally told my sister, you know what? I wasn't going to be able to pay all my bills anyways. I'm just not going to pay this bill also. I'm not saying do that. It's probably not recommended, but literally I didn't pay my sewer bill or my water bill. Like they weren't going to turn it off the first month is kind of what I said. I sold a couple things around the house, put it on a card, all the things you probably shouldn't do, but I was that desperate for a change. And I said yes. Fast forward 3 years later, my sister's not even working this. Okay. And I joined to make a difference. And when I say that this life can make a difference, it definitely can. I joined in December and I turned around in January of 2020 and I went to conference. And I'm telling you, if you ever have the opportunity to get to conference, go to conference. Because if I hadn't gone to conference that January, I probably still would not be here because it does something in you. So did you want me to go straight into my takeaways?
Yes, ma'am, please.
Okay. All right. So I have a few takeaways. I will touch on them and a lot of them are the same ones Courtney already said. So clearly there's a reason there. One of my key takeaways was when John was talking about the purpose and the process. Why do I say that? Why was that such a key takeaway for me? Because I have struggled, you guys. I have had some ups, some downs, some highs, some lows in this business. But my biggest issue was the whole comparison thing. And it wasn't comparing myself like to Mariah or to anybody else. I was comparing myself to where I thought I should have been. It took a lot in me because when I had an upline, and mind you, I haven't had an upline since 21, so I'm not a new orphan. Like it took a lot out of me because I was doing all the things. I was showing up on the team page. I was showing up like a double and triple leader, but I was barely making Ruby. I hit Emerald 1 month finally, and I was only paid as Emerald that 1 month, and I haven't been since then. And I got so defeated and felt like I should have been so much further than where I was. And then in August of 21, my dad very unexpectedly passed away. And I fell apart. My dad was my person. He was the closest person to me. And then right after that, literally, I think it was less than a month later, my presidential left. The entire team fell apart. And I toned out, like I zoned out. I didn't know what to do. And when they were talking about the purpose in the process, I had to realize and finally fully understand, because I've heard it before, like I've heard something along those lines, like you've got to go through all of this because one day you need to teach somebody how to get through that. And I've heard it and I felt it, but it wasn't until I was there and I finally took that and another thing that Jenica was talking about when she was on stage. And she was talking about, you have to be like the captain of your ship. You have to be the CEO. I've always been okay with being the CEO, but I don't know what it was. I mentally just shut down and I was not okay with being the CEO of my own business for a little while there. I felt like since I lost my team, I lost my dad, I lost like all kinds of things. I felt like I needed somebody to pour into me and I didn't have that. And so for her saying that and then tying that in with the purpose and the process, it all just clicked for me, you guys. You have to just take charge. You have to understand that if you want this bad enough, nobody is going to fight for your dreams harder than you are going to fight for your dreams. And then my last like little bit of key takeaway was nothing anybody said on stage. It wasn't. It was the fact that I was sitting next to a potential distributor that I had talked to for the last 2.5 years. But when I was checked out after losing my dad and losing my team, there was about 2 months where I didn't follow up with anybody. And my potential distributor that I was sitting next to joined with somebody else. Do you know how much that butt hurt me? But it was like a big old kick in the butt because then I'm also listening to somebody on stage talking about how they lost their dad unexpectedly in 21. But what did they do? They turned around, they worked right through it and they promoted. And me, I fell apart. You guys cannot, life is going to happen. Life is going to happen, but I'm not going to cuss. I will be danged if I'm going to go back to that mom in the grocery line that couldn't afford an 80-cent candy bar. And I don't know what it was. Maybe it was that I finally talked to my doctor about my mental health because I also have all that going on and got back on my meds. But I am telling you, and I told Mariah too, I think it was this past November, December, somewhere around that time, I just got excited. And I know Mark has always said this isn't another year, this is your year. But I started feeling that excitement prior to conference. And when I got there and just surrounded by everybody else, you guys, when I say that this is like, there's something happening. We're all doing things. I can't even explain it or describe it. It's just all of it came together to just kind of click. It was like a light switch that I need to just have turned on, and it got turned on. And it's like, we're just doing this. We are here to help other people. It's not just about me and what it can do for my family. I need to go make sure that no other mom is standing in the grocery line, not able to buy a candy bar for her daughter. So I will stop. You'll have to stop me, because that's why I usually don't speak on Zooms, because I like to talk. So
Girl, that was so good. I just love hearing your story because it carries so much power. And like, I love most about your story, like, you're not a top leader. And so often we tie top leaders with success. But success is never a dollar amount. Success is never a position. Success is when you grow into a better version of you. And I've seen you do that day in and day out for 3 years. And I just love hearing your story, and all your takeaways were so good. I'm telling you guys, this event, like Laura said, you figure it out and you get yourself to the next event. We're doing another, I don't know what they're going to call, but like road rally kind of thing. So events are going to be popping up. Find one within like 6 hours of you, drive to it, get your butt in the room with like-minded individuals. You don't want to be left behind in this momentum. And the best way to make sure that's not happening is to plug in and get in the same room with like-minded individuals, you guys. So Taylor, if you want to come and share some of your story and your takeaways, please, love.
Hi guys, I am super excited to get to be on this with you all. My name is Taylor. I have been in this business for 7.5 years now. It's kind of crazy to say that, but before it works, I was working 50 to 60 hours a week and going to school at night. I was recently married, so I didn't have kids or anything yet, but I knew growing up, I always wanted to be a stay-at-home mom because that's how my mom was. And I got married and everything, and we were kind of like looking at budgets and stuff, and came to the realization that that was just a dream, that being a stay-at-home mom was not going to be in the cards for us because my husband was a mechanic, and those paychecks are definitely not like set in stone reliable. And then I was working 50 to 60 hours a week. There's no way I could drop that and just rely on his income and stuff. So that was a real gut puncher to me. And I was not looking for this business, but God knew that our lives needed it for sure. And I jumped in, not knowing anything about the business, not trying any of the products, like didn't even think about it. As bad as that sounds, like I jumped in, first off, like messaged this lady about it and just got started. Fast forward 6 months and I was able to quit my full-time job, and I have been stay-at-home wife then, now mom of 3 ever since, for like going on 7 years now. And it's just been a complete game changer. We've paid for fertility treatments in cash twice now. Like I said, I have my daughter, and then we have a set of twins that are almost a year old now, but I have never had to miss out on anything. I have not missed out on any of their lives, any of those precious moments, because I said yes to this business. And I'll kind of just go into like talking about there is no wasted time, purpose in the process, because it kind of goes with that. When I got started, I didn't know that we were going to have to go through fertility treatments. I did not know I was going to be as sick as a dog my entire pregnancy, both times. I did not know those things, but God did. He brought this business into my life for that reason. I could not have predicted any of that, but he knew I was going to go through those things and brought this business into my life when he did, because I was able to stay home. I did not have to take off work and worry about missing out on pay. I did not have to like stress about all of that. I was able to be present and in all of the sickness and all of the glory, all of the things. But I didn't know I was going to go through all of that stuff, but he did. So there is a purpose in the process, and I am able to relate to ladies with that experience. And whatever you're going through right now, just like all these other ladies have talked about, there is purpose in that, because you never know, once you get through that, who you're going to be able to inspire, who you are going to be able to change their lives as well. They're going to relate to you on those levels. But kind of going into that, there's purpose in the process. That was a big thing. John's speech was truly the best speech I have ever heard in my entire life. I have been to every conference since I got started, the past, I guess, 8 conferences now, some are virtual. There is a difference in watching something virtually and being there in person. If you can't be there in person, definitely watch it virtually, but absolutely, with everything that, like, of your being, try to get there in person, because surrounding yourself with like-minded people, it just does something different. I can't even put it into words. I've been trying to put it into words for 7 years now, but there is just something different about it. You meet new people, you connect with different stories, and you just put yourself in that proximity. But purpose in the process. There were a few notes that I took, so I'm going to read these. The more you help others, the more God can help you. So you're in this business for yourself, but try and shift your mindset to, how can I help all of these other people? So, you've built your business, maybe it's crumbled, or maybe you just got started. Try and go into it with the mindset, how can I help this new distributor? How can I help them earn whatever goal they have in mind? Maybe it's $100, maybe it's $500, maybe it's $1,000, maybe they want to get this diamond bonus. But how can I help them? Because in return, God is going to help you by helping all of these other people. So keep that in mind. The more you can help others, the more God can help you. And one thing that helped me through all of promotions, through just everything, even the highs and the lows, is doing daily affirmations. So looking back to when I mass enroll, like I've mass enrolled for several years, I know how to do that and everything, but looking back at those key points, I was telling myself and doing specific things daily that when I wasn't mass enrolling, I wasn't doing. So one was making sure that I have my quiet time with God, getting connected with him, making sure I have that relationship with him. And 2, another thing I was doing are those daily affirmations, knowing what I want and telling myself every single day those things over and over. I am a mass enroller. I am a loyal customer signing machine. I enroll distributors that are wanting to work, that are wanting to be successful, that are going to earn $500 next month. I am going to be able to help them every step of the way. So those daily affirmations, multiple times a day, not just like once, but saying it with feeling, like really, truly believing you can do those things, posting it up on your wall. Like I'm doing all of the things because I want to be able to see it throughout my day as a reminder. Oh yeah, I am a signing machine, like a customer signing machine. I am a mass enroller. So whatever that looks like for you, whatever you're going for, put it up around your house, put it on your screensaver, your phone, set alarms so it goes off and you're reminded, hey, I need to say that, and say it with feeling. Say it out loud. Maybe it seems weird, but the more you do it, the easier it is. And the more you start to believe it yourself. Trying to think. Oh, I just got off a Zoom with a couple of other people, and Jocelyn Yates said this, and it just changed my mindset on things. And I wanted to share it with you guys. It says, can my current habits carry me to my desired future? I just thought that was such a game changer. What are you doing today? Is that what is going to get you to your goals, your desired future? If not, take a look at what it is you're doing and make that change so you can get your desired future. But everything else, hold on one second. Everything else we've kind of already gone over, so I will stop rambling, but it was just such a great conference. It was the best one I have ever been to. Like I said, I've been to 8 now. It's just something different about this year though.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I loved all of that. Thank you so much, Taylor. I love how you were talking about affirmations. That's one of the things I preach so aggressively. And it's something like I was so against at the beginning because I felt like they were stupid to say. Like, you've got that idea of like, I'm pretty, I'm smart, I can do hard things. Like, those kind of affirmations. But the truth of the matter is we literally get to wake up each and every morning and define who we are going to be that day. We get to speak life into the areas of our business, our life, our marriage, our family in a way that's just so empowering. And we just have that control. And I think that is so, so important to remember. So I'll keep my tips quick, you guys. If you don't know me, my name is Mariah Newsome. I've been in this business for just under 5 years. I joined as a broke and broken newlywed. I had been married for a little over a month. Me and my husband were long distance, our entire dating relationship. And then we got married. I'm so excited to spend my life with this man and get to know him better. And I realized very quickly, I saw him more long distance than I did now that we were living under the same roof. And I was working 40 plus hours, commuting 3 plus hours a day. If you guys know Atlanta traffic, okay? It was insane. And I just felt like everywhere I looked, I was being reminded that I was failing. I was coming up short. And I knew that God called me to a life of abundance. And I sure as heck was not walking in that. And so I was just praying for something. And I never imagined that something to come in the shape of this business. But it did. It showed up. I jumped in 2 feet forward to go out and prove that you cannot make money online. And my, oh my, did God have such a bigger plan for me. This business has revolutionized my mindset, my lifestyle, my finances, the way I look at the world. And now I have an 8-month-old. And because I said yes almost 5 years ago, she gets to know a life of mom always being home, of not having those stresses that I grew up with, just an entirely different future than anything me or my husband knew. And like everyone else was talking about is like when you say yes, when you jumped in, you never know what God's going to do and go forward with. If you didn't have a chance to listen to John's speech, Courtney shared the link in the chat. Please go do so because guys, there is purpose in the process. I want to touch on that too, because it's so easy to find ourselves in some place bleak, not understanding what's going on, not understanding how this is somehow ever going to serve a bigger purpose. But I can promise you, whatever you're going through today or whatever you've been through, you have gone through for a reason, that you are equipped and gaining strength, empowerment, growth. You're getting wisdom, you're going, and those things are going to be a defining key feature in who the person that you're becoming is going to be. And it's so powerful to start learning how to relish and be thankful during the pain and during the process. My biggest takeaway was both on stage and just in the room, and that was culture. The culture of our company has been said again and again over the years, but the culture of our company hasn't truly been felt in years, in my opinion. I haven't walked in a room where I felt Jesus. I know Cindy goes and she prays over every seat before an event, but you can't always feel that. I know that our founder, Mark, is such a godly man. I know our top leaders pray and bring God into things, but you don't always feel that. And this year, guys, from the moment we walked in for the launch the night before for worship, you just felt the presence of God almost more so than I have in a church in a while. Like God was so heavy in that space, you could almost cut through it with a knife. It was just insane. When people talked, there was a different level of power, a different level of empowerment. You just felt the culture shift. And then we had a whole panel on culture, which is something that is so important to me. When I joined 4.5 years ago, I joined and I was on a team, and I have nothing bad to say, but that culture was not me. It's not what I identified with. And so very quickly into my business, I went off on my own. I made my own team page at Ruby. Don't recommend. But I did. It was me, my husband, and my mother-in-law. We were the only people in there, okay? But I started then creating a culture of what I was going to stand for and what my team was going to stand for. After a couple of years of praying, we decided on the name, the Legacy Tribe, for my team. And they talked about this at conference, about how important it is to define your team going forward, what it is you're going to represent. And so we are the Legacy Tribe. We are out here to create a legacy. We do more than change our lives, more than change our kids' lives, but we go out and we do something so much greater than ourselves, that it transcends generations, that we are the hands and feet of Christ going to touch lives. And it's important to know what you're showing up for, because when you don't, you just start showing up, and you can't get to your ideal destination. You can't get to where you want to go if you don't know the culture of what you want to get. Like, you can have your goals, but your goals are not enough. You've got to know who you want to become along the way. There's purpose in the process. The process to get you to your goal is going to start defining who you are. And if you're not in tune with the culture you want to create, you're going to wake up in a business that is not even close to what you're wanting. You may have the title, you may have the income, but the feeling is not going to be there. And I was thinking back to the biggest time of my business. Was 2021, January of 2021, with our virtual conference. And October, I was homeless, living in a tent. My whole life had fallen apart. Money was just not what it needed to be. We were dealing with so many, it was like one of those, like you're just getting punched from every angle. And in October, we were living in a tent. In January, my team brought in almost 20,000 in volume. The same team that we were, every single one of us were failing and not having success and struggling and feeling empty just a couple months before. And I sit there all the time and I'm like, what is the difference? How did we do almost 20,000 in volume in 1 month when we were barely signing a couple customers each months before? And it was culture. I had identified who I was and what we were showing up as. We were so immersed in God. We were so immersed in what we stood for. We were so immersed in giving, in showing up for others, and truly valuing people over boxes, over volume. And when you start seeing people, when you get really clear, you guys, on what you're creating, that legacy, that thing, that picture bigger than yourself, that's where the volume came from. We were still doing host to post. We were still doing personal development. We were still showing up the exact same way. But when you really tune into what you're doing here and why you're doing it, an entire mountain can start changing in front of you. And so I want to challenge you guys to start identifying that culture. I want to challenge you guys to go watch that speech John did. There's purpose in the process. Every single one of us said that today. So make sure you take the time to go watch that, because we are currently going through something, right? 2022 was hard for almost every one of us. Almost every single one of us lost team, either above us, below us, or both. Every single one of us has not had the same successes they wanted. We fell short for a goal. Whatever that is, it's been a tough year. But I promise there's purpose in that process. There's purpose in letting go of the dead weight. There's purpose in missing that goal. I'm going to be honest, guys, you don't want to push for a goal just to get it and lose it. If you didn't hit it, that's because your foundation wasn't strong enough, and it's coming together now, because now is the time. There is a different fire in this company than I've seen since I joined. We've got an incredible new product. Holy fudge, the dang stats on this product, you guys, it is flying off the shelves. And jump on that bandwagon, okay? Those people who jumped on TFX promoted. The people who jumped on Gummies launch promoted. You're in a place, we just launched a brand new product with better stats than both of those combined. Jump on that train. Get the messages out, get the follow-ups, get the host to post, do your personal development, pour into yourself, because you can never pour from an empty cup. Take that time, and guys, align with what's going on. Things are happening. You have one choice or two choices right now. You either jump on the dang train, get to work, or you're going to wake up and wonder what happened and how everyone else ended up there while you're still here. There's nothing I can say, Courtney can say, Taylor can say, Laura can say, to get you from here to your goal. You've got to decide which choice you're making. Are you going to figure it out? Are you going to show up and do it anyway? Or are you going to wake up and wonder what happened? Because now it's coming, you guys. Now is the time that you've been praying for years. Don't let this moment pass you by. It's time to get up and get to work. I'm so thankful for you guys who hopped on and shared. Your takeaways were incredible. I had so much fun getting to know you, Taylor, this weekend. Laura, seeing you, and Courtney, we're like butt buddies. So, you know, it's fine. Whether I see you or not, we're going to see each other probably Tuesday, you know. But I just had such a great time with you guys. So before we end the recording and hop off, I am going to pray us out. Thank you all also who did hop on. for staying for 40 minutes on a Monday night. We appreciate your time, and hopefully you guys took something away. So dear Lord Jesus, thank you so much for this group of individuals. Thank you for bringing them to this time, to this place, this company, this exact moment. It's destined for them to be here. You don't call us somewhere just to leave us high and dry. You call us for a purpose, for us to have power in this moment. I know you're doing so much, working in and out of everyone's lives, their businesses, their families. And I'm just so thankful for all that you are doing and how you are showing up so abundantly for us. You're creating miracles for us to walk into. You're moving mountains that we don't even know we're going to face. And we're just so thankful for you always going ahead of us. We're praying like everything depends on you, and we're committing to working like everything depends on us during this season. We are so excited for all you are doing, and we are so thankful for all that you've already done. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen, you guys. I will see you all later, and this recording will be up on my YouTube, just my name. So bye, guys.